Wanted to share some of these realizations. Uh, Purpose is a real pain in the ass, isn't it? Let me put something out there. Let me give you an idea. I know why we have pain, murder, rape, torment, negative. I know why we have hope and positive and Mother Teresa's. I know why we have uh, the reasons for all of these things. And it's because we're unconditional. So let's talk about the unconditional, okay? If you listen to that term, it is in and of itself self evident. It means unconditional. And any opposition to the unconditional is a conditioning if you would look at things in polarity. It's not really a conditioning. I think it's a point of view. It's how you look at life. We are interpreters of all. The singular interprets the all. The all are one, one are all. That kind of idea. So we get to do these things, and how our relationship to the things that we objectify as conditioning, whether it's positive or negative, it's simply in and of itself experiential, is it not? Is the reason why it all happens. Life happens because it in and of itself, life is unconditional. Without unconditional, then we can't have life, as we would have already collapsed. Because you have a box, a limitation, a conditioning. So I'm right and you're right and I'm wrong, right? So if there is somebody in charge of this whole fucking kit and caboodle called creation, then we would have not been here by now. It would have all been done. We would have found the end of ourself. Creation can't go beyond itself unless in and of itself, as a standard, existence is unconditional. It's a state of being. It's not an emotion. Unconditional love is not an emotion. It's a state of awareness. It is complete and total allowance of each individual singularity to not only express, but to interpret its singular truth. That expression is giving to the all. Whether it is someone that is doing something that you would consider wrong, that is a truth, and you can't stop that truth. Oh, sure, you can kill them. You can kill the human. You can take them and lock them up. You can yell at them and protest against them, or you can up. If they're in a positive idea, you can praise them, and you can put them on a pedestal, and you can give them awards for their actions, for their behaviors. But you can't stop it. You can never stop creation in and of itself, because creation is truth in and of itself, and the only way existence is here and now forever is because it's unconditional. So what does that mean? It means that we can. Look what the fuck we can do. You see it? We get to. There's a lot of great things that we get to do. And there's a lot of horrible things that we get to do. The horrible thing is because we're unconditional. The great things is because we're unconditional. The difference is in humanity is we're born into a world of polarity. And off those objectified ideas of coveting belief systems that we've taken on as personalities through our own life as a human, separated from creation, not knowing ourselves as connectivity, the all are one, one are all, then we get the beauty, the absolute, unequivocal fucking beauty of being polarized. And not only being polarized, but having the unequivocal truth about that gives us the emotional relationship to have that experience. Why did we come here? To save the planet? Fuck no. Not a chance. To heal each other? Thanks for playing. Not a fucking chance. No one's dying. Planet's not going anywhere. Gaia is a creator. She's not in peril. The turtles with the plastic in their fucking noses, it's a life for them. You see that? Who's seeing the conditioning? We are. We see it. The singularity sees life as its truth. That's why we're unconditional. That's why we get to. That's why we have the things we do. That's why it's so vibrantly luscious to be alive in hate and be alive in joy. Because we get to do that. Masters, all of us, every fucking human, from fucking Manson to Hitler to Trump to fucking Gandhi and Mother Teresa and the Pope. All masters to understand their relationship with the undiscovered, unknowable, unconditional, all that is. Excellent. Priceless. This is why it's all here. People ask why all the time. Well, because we can. Because we get to, because we are unconditional. The slant that gives you the emotional pain or the emotional joy, or anywhere in between your own individual singular point of polarity truth, that interpretation is through the belief systems of your truth. You got to remember, here comes Peter Cottontail, you, all that is, connected, and you birth a tiny little fragment of you that knows not itself as a singular whole, a creator of billion lives, billion selves, unconditional realities that don't have a temperament of good or bad, not even indifference, that are just isness, pure discovery of the unknowable, the field provided forever by unconditional. And then you took this little singularity to discover a portion of creation we haven't been able to know. What is that recording doing? Why does it keep flashing? Seems okay. That we get to know. We get to know polarity is because we're unconditional. It's not because we came here to work off any bullshit comment or pay homage to a fucking mighty God who has an ego just slapping it on your fucking forehead, big God dick going, I'm God. You have to bow down before me. Hey man, you know what? If you want that, you can have that. See, that's what unconditional provides you. And you can hate people that don't believe in God or the Christ conscience or Gandhi or any of the resolves of religion that keep you in that temperament of that's the truth. Muslim, the same as Christianity. It's just the way to be. It's what we get to do. All the atrocities in the world is because we come here to be atrocious. All the joys and successes in the world because we came here to experience joy and success, to have family matters and heart-melting moments of love and compassion and empathy and hate and sorrow and suffering, because we're fucking masters to experience the unconditional from a point of not knowing you're unconditional, that all reality is unjudgeable, except the eye of the beholder can do what the hell they want. The difference is we didn't know. We didn't know. We externalized everything. This little tiny singularity said, that's true, I'm not true, that's true, I'm not true. There was no connection with inside, no worthiness inside discovered until you start seeing yourself from a creator point of view, from a worthy point of view, from a not objectified, but a subjectified creation extension, seeing the world as is, isness without the bounds of limitation. Fucking phenomenal. I freaking love it. I'm checking something, sorry. So in my discovery, I found out it's okay to be an ass. It's okay to be a dick. It's okay to be a cunt. No one's in charge. Who's in charge? God? God can't be in charge. Because if God was in charge, then God can't go beyond itself if it holds all of itself in accountability to its own demands. And his demands are that of limited, boxed. If it is unconditional, then no one's in charge. No one gives a shit. Nothing's wrong. You can't die. You're going to experience a death. How? through life. We get to live. We get to do as we choose. But it's very, very scary to choose what this says as opposed to this, because this has an enormous amount of standardizations through societal norms. And the accountability and responsibility is held by law and those in power. And that's a scary thing, to be yourself without being judged and obligated and ridiculed and beat up. And I've been through it, and it's exquisite. The pain, the suffering, out fucking standing. Wanted to slip my wrists 1,000 times. Wanted to end it because it hurt so much. But then when you approach a life, is that you can, because you're a master of ascending species. That you're a goddamn mighty fucking warrior of freedom of this self to be expressed in the moment without consequence, because consequences are a subjective point of view of truth. And whatever you objectify is a truth as well. Why? Because we can. Because we're creators of unconditional. It's a song. Can't wait till it comes out December. We get great movies. We get bottled water. We get paper. We're creators. Look around. Look at life. I'm so happy. And I've hated so much. You know, I used to think it was wrong to hate. It's not. It's an experience. It is an absolute exquisite experience, and have the ability to hate. But I can't hate anymore. Why? Because it's not my truth any longer. Why? Because I've accepted hate as a transcendence idea of evolution. Let me say it again. I've accepted hate as a transcendence idea of evolution. Hate is an objectified idea that was taught to me, but it is also a subjective expression. I was taught polarity. I was taught failure. I was taught I'm a piece of shit, not only by the idea of standards of human, but the religious ideas. I'm a big fucking piece of shit. And I got to work my way back into heaven, right? So I can rest in peace. Okay, yay. And my worth is in the toilet from the get-go. And I spent my whole life up until 2010 trying to be good, to fit in. Isn't that exquisite? I got to do that. I got to discover. And part of that was hating myself. Then I turned and hated others. Oh, I hated my parents for what they did to me. I was the victim. But what were they? Just gods figuring themselves out, right? Oh, I hate the personality, but I know the persona behind it. It's a great creator, an unconditional creator, one that can't be contained to words of human lore. But I had to understand that, so I accepted it in myself and I expressed it. And now I can't hate because I know it. It's like this. Here, let me show you something. Okay, let me show you the little now. Let me put my flute down. Let's imagine this is the now. Okay, and you have space-time in the now. Forget about time. Time is just assigned in the moment. Right now, it's 5:15 p.m. on October 18th, 2019. Right, Central Time. Yay! That's all that time is. It's a moment that is validated in the moment for a certain experience, but it's not linear. It's created as a valid truth in a particular now. So if I'm in this now, and this is my world detracted according to law 3, what you put out is what you get back, right? I'll go over the laws. Maybe I'll have a channel come in. But anyways, so this particular now, I can walk around it, right? And whatever's in my now, I go down the stairs and I'm walking around, all that's in my now. Why is it there? Because it's my truth to be what? Discovered. But if I transcend it by accepting it and understanding it from an experiential point of view of absolute expression, that it leaves my now because I've coalesced it, because I've transcended it, because I became it to know myself. And whatever I know, I'll never know again because I don't need to, because that's then. That's not now. It was, not is me. Now, what's available. So hate is transcended because I accept it and I expressed it and I dove into it. Suffering, all that shit. My camera keeps trying to figure me out. Pardon me. So it's not my now. It's either unknown to me or I've transcended it. Even if it lies in my memory and I remember something and it can occur in the future, that's still part of my now because my now is everything vibrationally connecting to me that I can translate as experiential. If it's unknown to me, I can't feel it, see it, experience it because it's not in the same frequency, vibration match, right? Attraction, law of attraction, you guys know this. So, in that, I understood that this world, as all worlds, is unconditional. So, when you start understanding the unconditional and complete allowance, you see that the world is being that all the time. And how we get mad at it, hate it, objectify it, say it's wrong, say it's right, follow along, protest against, whatever humans do to the idea of polarity is because it's unconditional. Isn't that fantastic? I think I said what I wanted to say. It's phenomenal to know this. And I go through my pain and I reach out and I have my own little guru, Cece, and I love her. And I reach out to her when I'm in a panic and I get that idea input that gives me a relationship of truth. Sometimes people feel guilty about reaching out to other people because they want to do it themselves. That's my thing. I have to be the hero and I have to be doing it because I can't rely on anyone else. I got to be self sufficient because it was drilled in my head. The singularity is better. Do it yourself. You're all, and that's cool. And some points I am like that, but also some points, the truth is to, hey, you know what? I'm going through a shitstorm here, and I can't seem to find my way out. And clarity is offered, and it may not even be clear because I can interpret it as shit. Why? Because it's unconditional. And the thing is, it's not leading me to get better or worse. You know what it is in and of itself, in the nature of it? Just life. Just another fucking now that means nothing because it's already full of meaning and isness. It's experiential. It's life unconditional. Interpreted, and you keep going now. Life never ends. You're never going to die. Isn't that fucking fantastic? Outstanding that we never get to die. And we didn't even know how long we've been because there's no time. You know where we've been? Law 2. Now. Everything is here. Everything is now. Everything is here and now. We've been forever already. and, 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 and we never get to stop being forever. You know, in your mind, I've been thinking about this idea video I was want to do for about a week now. Things are unfolding. And then when you do it, you don't even think about it. Isn't that fantastic? So I don't care how it comes out because I'm not here to perform for you and make you better. Because you're not shitty and you're not better. You are all that is. There's no measuring the immenseness of you. No measuring what I am. We are unconditionally forever experiential of what? Evolution of the self known. I don't know. I don't even know where this is going. Isn't that fantastic? I don't have a goddamn purpose. I don't. Because I don't need to be anything more because I already am. Fuck me, man. I am. All that is. Fantastic. Anyways, it was a good day today. Had my Starbucks. They took away my button. Latte macchiato. Now with soy milk. Now I have to say, soy grande, had a shot upside down. No, soy grande. No, grande soy latte. Have to do it right, right? Can't fuck it up. Grande soy latte, upside down, out of shot. Because it took away grande macchiato. Grande latte macchiato, I think it was called. They kept flat white, but they took away that button, so now I gotta say it different. But I had that today. It's fantastic. I have one pretty much every day. The day in value, though. So I get to value my day. I get to measure it. Because down here, we get to measure. We have standards. We have measuring devices everywhere. Our memory, others, standardization, societal respect, responsibility, obligation. We have measuring tools everywhere. We can hold ourselves accountable. We get to do that. And it's because we're gods. We're creators of the unconditional. So we get to come here and have this experience. And there's no answer to it. There's no ending. It seems to me that life will just continue. Whatever this is, it's just going to keep going. And this is whatever you make it. Fantastic. Got somebody here. That spooks a lot of people. When you start to be odd, because the commonality of frequency, being a channel, interacting with the things that you're not supposed to see and you're not supposed to hear because you're working on a dynamic of a certain frequency. But when you broaden your horizons with allowance and self-love, self-worth, not this bullshit up into here, I'm awesome affirmations. No. Living your goddamn truth. Even if it's hate, and even if it's joy, even if it's hope, or even if it's fucking contempt. You live it to know thyself. And when you know thyself, you change frequency. And frequency allowance attracts. So I got a lot of shit going on. It spooks people. Especially when you know things, and that scares people because you're not supposed to know things, but you know things. You know a lot of things. You just have to trust you know them and allow that truth to be expressed with no fear, and then you realize your worth. Here, before that, whoever that is comes in, realize creation chose you to exist. Nobody fucked up with your point of view, your isness. Creation creates itself. You can't map it. You can't fucking put it down. You can't label it because that would be using the references of humanity to figure out the unconditional all that is that lasts forever fucking universe. And we're putting it into measurements and scales with the modern academia for comfort and control. That's just human, kids. That's all. Fuck them. But go look in the fucking mirror and realize you were chosen to exist. Non-existence, existence. Law one, you exist. No one fucked up creating you. You're a fucking creator. Start to accept that and express that. Be your truth. Piss people off. Fucking get different friends. And maybe you won't have anyone for a while and you'll be this island among yourself for a while. But that's not wrong. That's discovery. It's a series of truths. Redefine until divine. I swear to God, it works. All you have to do is take the journey of truths and shed the truths that are no longer value to you. And don't be afraid to let them go because I know they're comfortable fucking images. They're goddamn linus blankets to be purpose, to be an idea of an exalted one of imagery. Oh yeah, I know. But your isness is existence in and of itself. And how can you top that? With a degree? With a purpose? With a bank account? I don't think so. I think you're more than that. But anyways, be okay with your own existence. Start to accept that. Not only accept it, but you got to express it. You got to get it out there. You got to know yourself and shed the shit no longer is valuable to you. And don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself. Don't be afraid to fuck up reality because you're gonna fuck it up. And that's the most exquisite thing to know. This is a deconstruction. This is not an idea of creating something happy in a shitty world. This world is not shitty. Hey, come back. Thank you. This world is not shitty and it's not good. It is, but it's a deconstruction of the polarization to go beyond polarity to realize your isness. Stand by. Let's see who's coming. Roxanne is most certainly right. The idea of herself expressed leads to an awareness that can then be computed from an idea of proof, resolve, formulas, theories, postulates. It is simply isness that takes over, that realizes the worth, that allows you to be something other than the standardizations of the personality of acceptance. It is quite rude what you will experience in discovering. You already are light within. To bring the light out is a value of expression. It is uncovering what has been shading you. It is tearing down the walls of Jericho to find the isness expressed within. And even if you feel that Roxanne is full of shit, then you know you are your truth. And that is unconditional. Realize, masters, that this class that you've bestowed upon, taken the journey into, we all know it's a brave class. You have 100 friends, your guides and spiritual families, you call them, which is your truth. You're the only one who came down here. The rest of them stayed up here. Brave? Yes, surely. And I'd like to hint upon something, maybe graze over it a little. Let's understand something. Whatever you value as a truth is created. Let me give you the laws once again. Let's review. Law 1 is you exist. Once again, there is a channel upon your planet, that of Darrow Inca, through the idea of connectivity with the Ascension civilization. This Bashar messenger has granted these ideas to accept or deny, matters not. But the first truth that we know is existence. And since you are knowing, then you are existence. Non-existence is full. Existence is full. There's no more room on either side. Non-existence knows not itself as not existing. Existence knows itself as existence and has the ability through the unconditional to know non-existence as well, but not know it from a non-existence point of view, otherwise it cannot have an experience. You must know this law if you choose as a truth. Law 2, everything is here and now. There and then is created from your social memory complex. Some of you may call it a soul. This reflection of your own ideology values itself in truth. The memory, as it is said, is created in the moment. In the moment you feel your truth in memory. That memory values itself as experiential connectivity of attraction. That's why your memory changes. That's why you forget things, because your vibration in the now is constantly in flux. When you change yourself, you have different memories, different pasts, different lifetimes. You only remember what you are in this particular now, and you have several nows, and you would never remember this now compared to your next now history, because the memory is created in the moment as truth. So now creates the past and the future. Live now to discover a very scary place that doesn't have tangibles, that doesn't have consistence, that has the idea to know itself without bounds. What you put out is what you get back. Let me elaborate on something that I've discovered. An observation of humanity. For some reason, you hold yourself accountable to attracting something that would be negative, or attracting something that would be good luck or positive. You must realize that as interpretation of the unconditional through your truth, there is no negative and there is no positive. There is only isness translated. The unconditional provides you whatever you want to do about conditioning the reality you see. And since human knows only the polarity from the get-go, and as it evolves, it starts to question its own self in that polarized personality called evolution. But as in mannerisms of truth, it holds itself accountable to the truth of polarity. So you feel alive in wrong. You feel alive in right. You feel alive in failure and success. You feel alive in this world of negativity and positivity. But what you attract is not a conditioned world. You attract truth of the unknowable to be known. There is a channel upon your planet. This idea has said you are the constant unknown into the unknowable, into the known, into the unknowable, the known into the unknown. You are constantly bringing yourself into the unknown knowingly. When you know it's no longer, Roxanne doesn't have the ability to hate in the nature she did. She's transcended that hate. That hate is now different with her. It's a relationship of difference. It cannot have the same value to her as the hate once was, because she understands it from a point of creation instead of a point of objectivity. So whatever you attract is your truth to explore, not to handle or manage or control or calculate. Yet the unconditional allows you to manage, control, and calculate reality. Create your safety and securities. Create your fears and your loathing, your anxiety, your medication. Create your atrocities and your triumphs and joys. Because we are creators of attraction, of truth. Not the truth to be held in time and conscious standards. The truth that is unknowable forever. Knowing yourself. All four is the all are one and the one are all. I, like Roxanne and you, the coffee cup, the table, the leaf, the trees, the wind, the air, the dishwashing liquid, the nylon, the chemicals. Every ounce of creation is knowing itself to the point of unimaginable smallness and largeness that's not truly scaled, is experiencing. When you kick a rock, you know the rock as you kicked it, but it knows itself being kicked, but not in the nature of positive or negative, in the nature of unconditional realization to that the divine rather, singular point of view. So your truth is your truth. That's what you own. What brings you your truth, your attraction of all that is. And all that is an enormous amount, an unnameable amount of singularities expressing truth to give you, provide you with an unconditional reality to do what you will with it. That's why it works. That's why we have bad and good. That's why we have up and down. That's why we have droughts and thunderstorms. That's why we have heat and cold. We are knowing ourselves. Every point of awareness, every idea you have in your mind is a singular point of awareness knowing itself. Creation never stops. It is all existence and all knowing. And it's unimaginable, truly, to really think on where evolution is. Evolution doesn't have an up or down. It's always more, you can say. It's never less. And we can't run out of room because everything is here and now, and there's no space-time in law. There's created space-time for experience by the laws of existence. Everything is here and now. What you put out is what you get back. They all are one, and the one are all. And the last law that ties it all together is change is the only constant except for the first four laws. So whatever you truth, call it a belief, which implies doubt in some fashions. But it doesn't matter. It's truly your truth in the now. That's your experience of life. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. It is, in and of itself, the simplicity of exquisite experience of existence. And whatever you create out of the change becomes your experience. But listen to this. Let me give you this. The only permanencies in creation are the first four laws. Change is the only constant except for the first four laws. So what does that mean, masters? Well, it means that everything you choose as a truth is created. Sacred geometry is a created truth. Chakras is a created truth. Ayahuascas is a created truth. They're not standards. Astrology, a created truth. It's an experiential world to know. But the idea of humanity, however, what do we do? What do humans do is the nature of the human separated? Covet, to become, to emulate, to project as imagery. The value is truth, and you will fight for it. You will kill for it. You will harm, and you will cry, and you'll criticize your own self for these truths through time. That's part of business. Make sense? There's so many wrongs in the world, but without wrongs, you have no life. Without rights, you have no life. Without existence, you are not life. Since you have life, life provides you with the unconditional. And how you get to see it, well, that's your truth. So you can have any truths you want as a standard. But remember, it's created. So nothing sits out there as a truth that is standard in isness, except for the first four laws. Change is the only constant. You will know yourself as these things evolved. And they will no longer be in your frequency of evolution because you have coalesced and understood them and become more because of them. But that's all they are. They're now gone and now you are. So when someone's trying to give you a truth and it holds you accountable to that standardization as a way to be, then maybe you can call bullshit on that. Because there is no way to be. Being is built in through existence in and of itself. However, you can be that idea to be because you are an unconditional creator bound by no judgment, No one's in charge. So go and play. Go fuck up reality. Go find yourself. Go live your covets, your belief systems you brought on as personality image to know the expression of humanity in the most dynamic experience of polarity, where it brings you down to the fetal position of absolute angst and suffering. You want to shit your pants and kill yourself. To the absolute joyous idea of a birthing baby and mother seeing that idea first time of their own beautiful child being birthed. To the idea of a heroic savior that comes in and saves the day and brings tears to your eye for the gratitude when you were in such peril. You get to do that. This is a master class. Make no fucking mistake about it. You guys, all of you, are fucking badasses. So don't hold yourself accountable unless you choose to. And if you hold yourself accountable to the ideas of standardizations, step back and observe that from a standpoint of truth. And if it is your truth, then continue, masters. And if it's not, then coalesce it as an evolutionary self of realization. Unconditional gives us this world where you can have, in one fell swoop, polarized realities realized. Masters, truly. Tishno Motoko Marina Atoshna. Masters, we bid you a good day. And shall we turn you to Miss Roxanne?